All right, old school NBA fans, self-research NBA facts. I got another video for you. As always, thanks to anybody who watches my videos, subscribes to my channel. I really appreciate it. I'm getting a lot of pushback all of a sudden from obviously LeBron James fans. You know, they're just convinced that this guy is the best ever and can't even understand why anybody could think of anybody else. And there's a lot of players between LeBron James and Michael Jordan. And the thing I think a lot of them don't understand is they keep pushing this longevity thing. Okay, longevity is great, but it's one aspect. That's what it is. So when you're comparing a player, you use that as one aspect out of several, not just being the defining thing. That was never the number one criteria when comparing players until LeBron James, because then that fits the narrative. You know, when Michael Jordan retired, even in '98 on the Bulls, and all the way until, LeBron James won 4 MVPs on Miami, and even the 2016 championship, I guess that was his third one or whatever. Nobody had said anything about how, Michael Jordan's competition was watered down. He got swept by Larry Bird twice, even though his team averaged 35 wins in those 2 years and Larry Bird's team averaged 63 wins. Let's not squabble over that little detail, though. But those are the things. Scottie Pippen, he's one of the top 10 players of all time. They were stacked. I mean, it's just a joke. And anyway, longevity. What did all these points and rebounds and assists, what did it actually lead to? Okay? It's different than in other sports. Like if you're talking about a running back, running back, all they do is run the ball. They're not even controlling the offense. That's the quarterback. But there's 22 position players. Winning is just really for quarterbacks. That's where you compare more because they control, half the game. And even though really you should take into consideration how good their defense and their offensive line and all those things are. You look at a player like Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't get sacked very often, does he? He's not under duress very often. And his defense has been one of the best in the league the last 5 years. They're great. They're a top 5 defense. I mean, they're awesome. They don't give up much. But anyway, what did all those points, all those seasons actually lead to? Okay? Now, if we're talking about championships, how many championships, or I should say, how many points did it take to win a championship? So I'm going to go down my top 25. I left out Nikola Jokic and Giannis Antetokounmpo simply because they're still active players right in the middle of their careers. Just doesn't seem right to do that. Players like Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, LeBron James, those are the only 3 active I have, other than the other guys. They've played a full career, basically pretty close. They're in their mid to late 30s, so that's that. Anyway, so Elgin Baylor never won a championship, so obviously he's null and void. He scored 23,149 points, but he has no championships. But I will say this, Elgin Baylor is the best player in NBA history who never won an MVP, never won a championship, and never led the league in a stat category. No question, it's Elgin Baylor. Nobody's going to convince me otherwise. Okay, David Robinson, number 22. He scored 20,790 points in his career. He won 2 championships. So that's 10,395 points per championship. Kevin Durant, 29,172. That's 14,586 per championship. Kevin Garnett only has 1. He scored 26,071, so that's what it took to get him 1. Karl Malone doesn't have any, null and void. He's the best player of all time to never lead a league in a stat category or win a championship. Karl Malone all day long. George Mikan, who is very, very high, he only scored 10,156 points, 5 championships. Oscar Robertson, 26,710 championships points, but he's only got 1 championship. Steph Curry, 23,898. He's got 4. Moses, 29,580, on and on. Anyway, instead of doing that, why don't I just rank the 23 players? Now, obviously, Elgin Baylor and Karl Malone are the only two that didn't win a championship on my top 25. I only got two guys that never won a championship. That's it. Okay. So coming in 21st place, who's my number 14, is Moses Malone. He only won one championship, and it took him 29,580 points to do it. Okay? Coming in 20th place is my number 16 player, Oscar Robertson. He's only got one championship, so it took him 26,710 points to get that one championship. Coming in in 19th place, Kevin Garnett, 26,071 points. He's only got one championship. That's how much it took for him to get the one. Coming in 18th place, Jerry West. Also only one championship, 25,192 points. Number 17 on the is my number 21, Bob Pettit. One championship. It took him 20,880 points to get that one championship. Okay. In 16th place, which is my number 7 player, Wilt Chamberlain. He's got 31,419 points scored. He won two championships, so that's 15,709 per championship. Okay? Coming in at number 15, Kevin Durant. He scored 29,172, won two championships, so that's 14,586 per championship. Coming in at number 14th place, Akeem Olajuwon. He won two championships. He scored 26,946. That's 13,473 points per championship. In 13th place, David Robinson. Like I said, he scored 2790, won two championships, so it took him 10,395 points per championship. All right? Coming in at 12th place out of these 21 players that I have, 23, but I took the two out that didn't win championship. LeBron James, 40,803 points, 4 championships. That's 10,200.75 points per championship. So, all those points, that's what it led to. All right, 11th place is Dr. J. 3 championships, counted the ABA, 30,026. That's 10,008.67 points per championship. In 10th place, Larry Bird, won 3 championships, 21,791. That's 7263.67 per championship. 9th place, Shaq. He won 4 rings, 7,149 points per championship. 8th place, Kobe Bryant. 5 rings, 6,728.6 points per championship. 7th place, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He scored 38,387 total. He's got 6 rings, but that's 6,397.83 points per championship. In 6th place is Steph Curry. He's got, in his 4 championships, it took him 5,974 points per championship. Okay? In 5th place, Michael Jordan. 32,292, won 6 championships. That's 5,382 per championship. See, when you look at it this way, longevity-wise, it's just not really as impressive as you think it is. Tim Duncan's in 4th place. 5 rings, every 5,299.2 points, Tim Duncan won a championship on average. 3rd place, Magic Johnson. He only scored 17,707 for his career, 5 rings. That's 3541.4 per championship. Number 2, George Mikan. Shout out to you, Dart. I know how much you love George Mikan. he's got 5 championships. It only cost him 2,031.2 points per championship. Number 1, no surprise, Bill Russell. 11 championships, only 1,320.18 points per championship. An absolute joke. I mean, a joke. It's crazy. It really is. Okay, now, if you're going to go by years played, right? So, like, for example, Bob Pettit, he's got 1 championship in 11 seasons. Bill Russell, 11 championships in 13 seasons. Will Chamberlain, 2 in 14 years. So that's once every 7 years. If going by years. Bob Pettit was once every 11 years. Bill Russell was once every 1.18 seasons. He wins a championship. That's going to be the best, I'm sure. Will Chamberlain, once every 7 years, he won a championship. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, once every 3.33 seasons, he won a championship. That's pretty darn good. Dr. J, he won a championship every 5.13 seasons. Moses won every 19. Larry Bird, he won one every 4 years. Magic Johnson, he won one every 2.6 years. Michael Jordan won one every 2.16 seasons. That's if you played at least half the season or more. I took out some of that for the other guys. Tim Duncan, he won a championship once every 3.8 years. Steph Curry, once every 3.25 years. Giannis, once every 11. Jokic, one every 9. LeBron, once every 5.25 years. A guy named Mel Daniels played in the ABA. He's a legend, actually. He won 3 championships in 7 years, so that's once every 2.33 years. I know that's the ABA. George Mikan, 5 rings in 7 years. That's one every 1.4 years. David Robinson, once every 6.5. Kevin Durant, one every 7 years. Kevin Garnett, once every 19. Oscar, once every 14. Shaq, one every 4.25 years. Kobe, 1.1 every 3.6 years. Hakeem, once every 9 years. And Jerry West, one every 13 years. So, how many players are under 5? Because LeBron James is at 1 championship every 5.25 years. So I already showed you he's middle of the pack, actually in the back half of the top 25 in championship points per championship, or actually championship per points. See what I'm saying? Okay, in years, the players that are under where LeBron is, Dr. J averages 1 championship every 5.13 seasons played, assuming you played at least half the year, can't count it against them. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 1 every 3.33 seasons. Bill Russell, 1 every 1.18 seasons. Larry Bird, 1 every 4 years. Magic Johnson, 1 every 2.6 years. Michael Jordan, 1 every 2.16 seasons. Tim Duncan, 1 every 3.8. Steph Curry, 1 every 3.25. Mel Daniels, ABA or not, 1 every 2.33. George Mikan, 1 every 1.4 seasons. Shaq, 1 every 4.25. And last but not least, Kobe Bryant, once every 3.6 seasons, winning a championship. So, all those years, all those points, what did it really come to? 4 championships. At the end of the day, that's what he won. Not interested in hearing about competition because there's no way he had the toughest competition. Magic was tougher. He had very good teammates. He had a 66-win team in 2009. He squandered it. He had a 61-win team in 2010. Squandered it. He had a 2-1 lead in the 2011 finals with home court advantage. Squandered it. Not interested. Three times he squandered it, and I didn't even mention the other 5 finals that he lost, underdog or not. You're the GOAT, right? How can you just lose all the... What makes you the GOAT is you win all those series, or not all of them, but you a fair amount, at least 5-5, if not 6-4. 4-6 in the finals is just not GOAT worthy. I'm sorry, it just isn't. Yeah. Anyway, but looking at a guy like Tom Brady, people say he's the GOAT quarterback, and probably is. Well, Tom Brady has all the passing yards, the passing touchdown records. Sure, he's got all that stuff. But he also has 7 championships in, really it's 20 seasons. But on average, it's about 1 championship every 3 years. Okay? LeBron is one less than 1 every 5 years. It's 1.5 and a quarter years. Even Joe Montana, the guy who's considered the second best quarterback of all time, in 14 years, he won 4 championships. That's 1 every 3.5 years. He wins a championship. So again, the longevity thing only works if you have rings, enough rings to go with it. That's why, yeah, Kareem had a legitimate argument, even though his league at the time it was watered down. Some of those MVPs, don't have, they're not the same as the other guys when after the merger or even before the ABA was in existence, because it just pulled away so many good players. Dr. J would have definitely won some NBA MVPs in those years. Kareem got one year, he was 42-40. But anyway, with all that being said, I mean, it's just a joke. And if you even want to look at MVPs, LeBron James, by points scored or whatever, won 4 MVPs. That's about 1 every 10,000 points. He won an MVP. All right. Well, Nikola Jokic is winning an MVP every 4,812 points. Way better. And the best ever was Bill Russell winning 5 MVPs because he didn't, he wasn't a scorer or whatever. But I'm just saying there's a lot of guys ahead of him on there. Look at Larry Bird, another small forward. He won an MVP every 7,263 points. LeBron, it takes him 10,000 points to win an MVP on average. I'm just saying, longevity is nice. It's an aspect. Definitely something LeBron has a lot of. He's up there with like Kareem and a select handful of people, maybe even the best at longevity. I'm not even going to get into the discussion on how is he doing it. That's a whole nother topic. I don't even want to speculate. We all have our guesses on that. But either way, LeBron James has longevity, but that's about it. When you consider 21 years, and everybody says all these All-NBAs and all this stuff, but only 4 championships, only 4 MVPs. That's just not enough. I'm sorry. Only 5 first-team All-Defenses. He's gone a decade with no MVPs and no All-Defenses. Just saying. The first 10 years of his career, he won 2 championships. The second 10 year, actually 11 year, he won 2 championships. I'm just saying, that's the best we have in the history of the sport? I don't think so. I think we can do a lot better. And yes, it's more than MVPs. It's more than championships. But as far as longevity, it's one aspect. That's what it is. There's a lot of guys who played at a high level, up into their mid to late 30s and all that. They just didn't go right out of high school. It's not the way the NBA was done back then. You're discounting what these guys did previously. So either you got to bring in their college stats, and I've done a video on this before. Either you got to bring that in, and that's got to be part of the conversation, or the first, at least 2 years of LeBron's career, just basically is, don't matter, whatever. But the problem is he didn't make the playoffs in those 2 years, so he doesn't even have that to hang his hat on. But anyway, that's all I got for this video. It's running a little bit long. Sorry about that, but I'm just tired of hearing about the longevity thing. When you put it into layman's terms and you break it down, what did it really come to? What did it account for? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was playing those years, still contributing to championship teams. But LeBron isn't. He's won 1 championship, and if he doesn't win it this year, that's 9 years? 1 in 9? He started out his career. He went 8 years? 7 years on Cleveland, 1 year on Miami. So his first 8 years, no championships. His last 8 years, no championships. Just saying, those are 2 very long gaps of time to not win championships. So anyway, Thanks for watching. It's all I got. If you liked it, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. And that's it for now.